Frontline MCOC here, back with another Frontline Interviews. My guest today, he's one of my favorite MCOC YouTubers. I live vicariously through his early access Crystal Bundle openings. He's done a lot of work on the Summoner Sigil, and he's been missing in action for a few weeks. He's finally back. He's got a microphone. MCOC DroidDoes. How are we doing tonight?
Hello. What's happening, everybody?
Oh, it has been so long since we have heard that sweet intro.
It feels weird saying it. Well, it feels weird because I got so used to doing it, and then now I've been out of practice, like you said, for a few weeks. So yeah, it felt a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
I know you got to shake off the rust because people are starting to ask questions on your comments.
Exactly
about where the voice is.
They enjoy the music, it looks like, for the most part, which is, a nice backup. But yeah, I've been getting comments on multiple videos like, what happened to your commentary? What's going on? I hope you recover from laryngitis very soon. And I'm no.
Yeah, you've had quite the laryngitis if it's been going on for almost a month now.
It was a very serious case, yes.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get into our topic for today, we're going to talk about the Sigil and then how that leads into deal structures for Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up later this week. I want to do the standard question. How did you get into Marvel? Was it the comics? Was it the cartoons? Was it the movies? And who's your favorite Marvel character?
Well, that's an easy one to start with. Spider-Man all the way. I will say Spider-Man, but also you have to say Peter Parker, because I feel like as a kid growing up, I totally felt like him. I felt like, I was a bit of a nerd. I was a bit of not outcast per se, but I wasn't like one of the popular kids. I wasn't in the in crowd or something like that. You have Peter, who's really smart, who is great in school, but really only has a couple of friends, and wants more. He wants the girlfriend. He wants the popular life and stuff like that. And then he gets the powers, and he gets to be Spider-Man. And it's this. I mean, it really is a dual identity, And so I always loved Spider-Man because he had great villains. He was great with the quips. Great storylines in the comics and stuff like that, but it really did feel like, he was as much Peter Parker as he was Spider-Man. It's living two lives. It's trying to balance the two. It felt more like realistic and down to earth than some of the other heroes. They don't worry about a secret identity, or that their superhero persona is basically who they are, in real life. So that was always drawn to me.
Yeah. Now, was it the comics, or was it like the 90s cartoon series that got you first?
It was all of it, but really it was the comics first. I remember growing up in my hometown in California, there was this sports card store that was downtown, and that was they mostly focused on trading cards and like the starting lineup figurines and stuff like that. But they also dabbled in comics. Like they had like all their sports memorabilia and stuff like that was like in the front, all the display cases and what have you. And then they had like a back room, basically like I don't know, like a converted storage room or something, where they just had like the boxes and boxes of comics, and they weren't really organized all that well. This was the 90s, so they had like the popular ones at the time, but that was about it. So they probably had like Spider-Man, X-Men, Captain America, Batman, Superman, just pretty much the big names only. They kind of kept up with the new releases, but it was mostly just like a random assortment of the older stuff from 60s, 70s, 80s. And so I was never really into sports as a kid. I'm into it a little bit more now, but as a kid, I really wanted nothing to do with sports. So like my dad and my brother, they'd be checking out like the top trading cards up front and the starting lineups, all the sports stuff. And then I would just go sneak in the back room basically, and I just start pulling comics out of the boxes and just start randomly reading them. And it kind of grew from there. I mean, it was the cartoons. Spider-Man and X-Men 90s cartoons, still two of the best out there.
Oh, for sure.
Nobody can disagree with that. I mean, Batman is on there too. Batman the animated series from the 90s is on there too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But Spider-Man and X-Men were both fun. I grew up watching both of those. I was hooked on them. This is totally not a plug, but thank you, Disney Plus, for having those and many other shows on their streaming service. Thank you for that, because I get to be a kid again. But yeah, like I watched those every. I mean, even like the Fantastic Four and the Iron Man cartoons. I remember watching those in the '90s, which weren't as popular, but they were still pretty solid. And then it was just everything. It was the action figures for them. It was the video games. Spider-Man, Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage video game is still secretly like one of my all-time favorite games. I can't tell you how many times I've played it, I've beaten it. I loved playing as Spider-Man and Venom and all the random team ups you could do. Oh, it was so good.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that Maximum Carnage, both the comic and the game, I feel like those were defining moments in my childhood. Like that is definitely like that whole that whole Maximum Carnage storyline that was a huge crossover. And I felt like that was like a big introduction for me, both the Spider-Man and to like the larger world of Marvel. Like all of a sudden it's like Deathlock and Iron Fist and holy crap, it's Captain America showing up to save Spider-Man. And I was just like, whoa, like it was like some like legend like coming to life like in these books. Like it was, I just remember those being like super formative to my comic reading. So yeah, you can definitely tell why Spider-Man has so many fans, because so many people can understand the duality of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And it's not like he's Tony Stark and goes to live in a mansion when he's not, or the X-Men are in a big mansion. It's like, no, he's living in a spare room in his aunt's house and doesn't have money to like even take a girl out if he could get a date in the first place.
Exactly. So, right.
Yes, the nerds definitely they definitely feel Peter Parker in that regard. So
for sure.
For moving on to MCOC, we're going to talk about the Summoner Sigil today, and I feel like you've done more videos on the Summoner Sigil than anyone else on YouTube, and you've really you've done a lot of reviews, and we've kind of followed your journey of having the Sigil and not having the Sigil. And as I was saying to you before we get started, someone who's never going to buy the Sigil because they won't spend any money on anything in the game, well, that's not really that interesting. And someone who's spending thousands of dollars a month on the game and wailing out, well, what's another $10 to them? They're going to buy anything.
Exactly.
But someone who is putting a lot of thought into it, really valuing the offer, can provide an interesting perspective, and that's what I'm sure you're going to bring today. So when they announced the Summoner Sigil, what were your initial impressions of them adding a subscription to the game? We'd seen it a little bit with some of the shard cards and the $5 unit card, but we hadn't really seen like a monthly subscription that was low dollar value before. So what did you think about the initial announcement and reveal of what was going to be in the Sigil?
Well, I was excited at first, which is not to say that I'm not anymore, but I was excited at first. I know a lot of people were kind of meeting it with trepidation. I'm not as much of a overall gamer as I think a lot of others, so I haven't really played a lot of games that have these like subscription based services. So I didn't really have a whole lot to compare it against. But I think a lot of people at first were worried about like how necessary is it going to be for the game. Like yes, it's quote unquote only $10 a month, but like if you don't buy this, are you going to get left behind? Is it going to be something only for end game players, or like you said, people who are already spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on the game? And I know there were a couple of the trigger words or the trigger phrases in the initial announcement talking about like the exclusive content, or however they phrased it at first, which I know people were getting nervous about, and then of course that famous word of introductory price.
Yes, the marketing term introductory price. Yes, that was really I think that was the true red flag word for a lot of people.
Right. So then you're not even looking at what it is right now. You're already worried about, what could it be in the future, or what is it going to change into, or what's going to be offered that I'm not going to get right now if I don't buy this. So now I feel like I have to buy this, or else the game is kind of over for me. So
Yes.
so I know there was a strong reaction from some people when it came to that, but for the most part, I was like, okay, this sounds cool. This sounds. I mean, again, we all have different ideas as to how much $10 a month is to some people, regardless of how much you spend in the game.
Yes.
Based on everybody's life situations. However young or old you are, if you have responsibilities with family members or rent or bills or a job or spouses or whatever. We all value $10 differently. So just from my own personal experience, just looking at it, it seemed like it was worth the $10. Like it sounded like there was a lot of stuff in there, not counting the title, because what's the point?
Right.
It's like, really, like, okay. And of course, I'm already level 60, so the XP boost doesn't mean anything to me specifically. So I kind of was just like, all right, those don't even count. We'll just take those off the table. Everything else doesn't seem like, just with this initial announcement, just seeing it on paper, is $10 worth it? Is it too much? Are the rewards too little? And yeah, I mean, I like I said, initially I felt like it was a pretty good bargain, but it didn't seem like, compared to other offers they do, like you mentioned, the daily cards or just preview bundles or other things that pop up. It didn't seem like it was something so huge that that it was hard to pass on.
Right. Yeah, I felt like they were trying to thread this fine line of they had to put some value in it so people would buy it, but if they put too much value in it and it felt like you had to buy the sigil to keep playing the game, that was going to cause a huge amount of negative backlash. So,
Right.
and I think honestly, I think that's about where they ended up. Like it's nice to have, and there's some stuff I like about it now. Now that I have it more than I expected, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. Overall, since you've been talking about the sigil so much and doing so many videos on it, what have you been seeing in the comments? Have you seen a change in the perception of the sigil? As we've gone from the announcement to the we all got a trial, and now you actually have to pay for it. Have you seen any change in how people have viewed the sigil over the last couple months?
A little bit. I mean, you see, just from like a YouTuber's perspective, of course, you kind of know when some videos are going to come out, when the Black ISO market resets on
Mm-hmm.
Mondays, and people go like, it's an odd coincidence that on Mondays there seem to be more 5-star featured crystal openings for some reason. I don't know why. But no, I mean, like, in terms of the feedback since the initial deployment, since we all got that 7-day free trial, kind of like more or less the same as what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
The heat definitely died down. The
Mm-hmm.
whole introductory pricing, the exclusive. Once we figured out that the quote unquote exclusive content was really just fighting gold pool one time for gold once a week.
Right.
Because that's it. The solo event is truly a solo event. It's not like a side quest or anything. So once we really started seeing it in action, I think the heat definitely died down in terms of the negative aspects of it. But I think too, it's kind of like what you were saying at the top. It's like I don't think it necessarily swayed a whole lot of minds right at the beginning. Like you said, most likely people were either going to get it or they weren't going to get it. So I think for the most part, things didn't really change. People are like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool, but I wasn't going to buy it. And now that the trial's over, I'm not going to renew it. Or I really like this. It's some cool extra stuff. And, it's only $10 a month. So I'm just going to keep on doing it. I think if they did ever change it, then we'd probably get another strong reaction one way or the other in terms of if there were ever like levels of the sigil, like a $10, a $20, an uncollected sigil, if they really
Mm-hmm.
truly made like an uncollected sigil or a cavalier sigil, then we might probably see the pot stirred up again. But I think for the most part, it's been relatively low key. It's the strong reactions I think are gone. There's certainly people who like it. There's certainly people who are not going to get it. But I think uh, I feel like like there are people out there who don't like actively dislike it. They don't really have anything bad to say about it. They don't think it's a money grab or it's essential for progress or else you're stuck. Or I'm free to play and I'm missing out on something huge. So I think there are people out there who don't actively dislike it. I just think they probably also don't like it enough that they
Yep.
do want to shell out the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I was pretty skeptical at first, and I'm wondering how much of this is just how we perceive value in the sigil, because they bundled together a bunch of different things in there, and some of the stuff is quite obvious, like, okay, I'm going to get 300 units a month from the sigil. If I wanted to buy 300 units, that would be slightly more than $10 anyway. So,
Right.
you could look at it that way. It's like, well, if I was, buying units at rack rate, I'm already winning. And there's certain things like, oh, like some people don't care about gold. But for some people, well, maybe 500,000 gold would be worth $5 to some people. When I start to think about it, it's like, oh, like I'm always needing more gold. Like, it's between the units and the gold, maybe I'm there. And I think the other thing and the reason I have the sigil right now is the inventory cap, where I was
Mhm.
capped out on science sig stones, and I wasn't going to be able to open any more sig stones of the class ones to rank up or to sig up some of my other champs of other classes, and that was going to hurt my prestige if I didn't get the sigil this month.
Exactly.
So I think we're all starting to find little things that we like about the sigil, and it is a lot to offer for different players. Do you have a certain feature that's your favorite right now?
Well, I mean, I feel like the honorable mention is the inventory cap.
Yep.
And ironically enough, also because of signature stones.
Yeah.
I've been saving up like 5-star 6 stone crystals for a while. And I just did a huge opening while I was away, just to try and build up specifically mutant and science classes. And I ended up getting a truckload of tech.
Of course.
Of course, I was going to
Yeah.
add the of course, but I'm like, yeah, no, of course I did. And so even now with the extra 25 stones that you can hold if you have the sigil, I am maxed out. I've got 125.
Yep.
And so, I'll use some soon. Of course, I don't want them to I don't want them to expire, but it's nice having that buffer. Ditto with like some of the catalysts that I'm absolutely maxed out on. I was even with the sigil, I was about to max on tier 5 basics before I started doing some rank ups these last couple of weeks.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, if you can believe it.
That is a
So
first world problem right there.
it is. I mean, I had done, I had finally finished Labyrinth. God, what's that been? A month and a half, 2 months ago or so now, and that was the huge stack of all of the class catalysts, but also the tier 2 alphas. And so I was just trying to be very careful in my rank up decisions. So as I was still deciding, the inventory just keeps building and building and building. So the sigil certainly helped with that. Well, the inventory cap part of it
Yep.
helped with that. And so that I feel like it's the honorable mention. Really though, it is the Black ISO market and it is that weekly solo event. I feel like they're basically tied as the absolute best parts of the sigil, at least from my personal experience.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that once it went live, a lot of the skepticism about the Black ISO market went away. I think initially we thought, well, like okay, like I can get a cheap 5-star featured, like that's kind of cool. But the rest of this stuff is really for other, for lower tier players if you're a Cavalier. But then when I started looking at my inventory, my overflow, and like some of the things that I'd have to do, it's like, well, how awesome is it to be able to trade in some tier 1 basics for some tier 1 class that I don't have, so I don't have to grind that silly event, and remember the day it comes around to get that particular
absolutely.
catalyst. Like there's some real time savers in there. Or I'm always overflowing on the the tier 3 basic, and to be able to make that into tier 1 alpha, like
Oh, yeah,
what a win that is. Like
it's a godsend. It really is. Yeah.
that really flew under the radar when I was thinking about it initially when they announced it. I didn't realize, like, once it's on your screen, you're like, oh, like this really helps. Like I'm trading something in my overflow for something that I really need.
Exactly.
And that's been good.
And I think, oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I think also with like the solo event, I know it was kind of glitchy at first, that first week or so, or during the free trial, I think, where I think it was Arena in particular, where points were just being awarded a lot higher than they should be. So like, people were getting 6 million or whatever, which of course didn't matter. It's not like there are any rank rewards for it or anything. But even after it kind of leveled out and it got fixed, and you do it on a weekly basis. I mean, you start leveling up a champ, even like a 3-star or 4-star or something like that, and even like maybe one rank up, and you're done for the week. Like I didn't think it was going to be difficult. Of course, I understand they want to make it easy, so you're basically guaranteed to get those rewards every week, no matter whether you're Cavalier, uncollected, or proven. It doesn't matter. But the fact that it is so easy, I think, was also a wonderful surprise for a lot of us. Again, like you said, it's just physically seeing it that makes the difference.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed every time the black ISO market resets. So much so that in my daily updates and my weekly updates, people were asking me, it's like, Dan, I keep forgetting, like, when the gold quest resets, I keep forgetting about the market. Like, could you please put those reminders in the updates? So it's become a part of my my calendar, and just my workflow on Mondays. It's just, oh, is this the Monday where the market resets or not? Because people care. And like you were talking about earlier, the cheap Sigil featured 5-star opening has become a bi-weekly event, and I think it's been a lot of fun for people that, I think, like myself, that I'm just not going to gamble the 15 K shards for a featured, but 11 with the Sigil, you're saving 4,000 shards, and you're getting extra shards from the solo event. So you're still coming out ahead, even if you don't get a great pull from the Sigil. If you're Cavalier, I think it's absolutely worth it from that perspective. And I haven't been super lucky with it. I did hit on a Sunspot recently, and he's my newest 565. So, like a lot of things, you only need to hit on one crystal to really change your account, and that gives you another opportunity to do that. And with so many champs in the game now, we're seeing it's really hard to target anyone. So I think the Sigil 5-star is becoming even more and more valuable. And when you look at the new pool coming with Doom and Reed Richards in it, I think you're going to see a lot of people that may be swayed to go for that Sigil just for Dr. Doom.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you were talking earlier about my experience, about how, of course, we got the trial, and then I did go for it. And then, I didn't renew it, but then I renewed it a little bit later on. And I think you and I have talked about this off camera, off Discord or just in other chats. And it was actually going to lead back into a plug for you, because you are so good at letting the community know about when the market is resetting. I know at least one time so far when I've renewed it, I specifically waited for a specific day and time, doing the math of the 30 days based on when I'm renewing and based on how many times that black ISO market is going to refresh in that 30-day span. Because, it is more opportunities of trading in catalysts or trading in some of the PhD shards, for 3 stars and ultimate crystals, stuff like that. But it is also maximizing your cheap 5-star featured chances, which makes the $10 feel like it feels like you're stretching it even further, like you're making it even more worthwhile, rather than just, oh, yep, my 30 days are up, so I'm just going to go ahead and auto renew without even thinking about it, and you get stuck with maybe only getting 2 full refreshes of the market rather than 3.
Right, and that's where I'm not sure if Kabam intended this or not, but it is a different setup than, say, the $5 unit card. Like, you're getting those units every day when you log in, and if you don't renew before it expires, you're not getting those units. Those units are gone. The Sigil is different because you can actually play Moneyball with it, like you're talking, and I know I didn't know this was going to happen, but just like you, I was timing it out, and you look and say, okay, I've got the Sigil for 30 days. The Black ISO market resets every 14 days, so if you wait until Sunday night, you can buy one immediately, then it's going to reset the next day, and you get another one, so you get the extra one. But what was really crazy was when I bought it the first time, got the one on the Sunday, then it reset on Monday, I believe, and but then the new featured 5-star pool came out, and it reset again. And we were going nuts when that happened because no one expected that. That was
nobody
awesome.
did, because I think I had snuck in the old featured earlier that Monday.
Yes.
Because again, thinking like, all right, well, I got 2 weeks. That's plenty of time to get 11,000 more shards. That's no big deal.
Right.
So I bought the old featured, and then, like you said, when it reset, I was like, what? Now I want more shards. If I knew it was coming, I would have waited.
Yeah, I mean I think that was the first time the pool had reset from once the Sigil had actually come into the game. So like we had no way to know that's how the system would read it, but it was certainly a nice surprise for everyone. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens again when the 5-star featured pool resets on December 15th. So definitely something to be looking out for there. And I wonder if that's something that they've caught and changed, or they're going to think about going forward. Because if I'm a business, I want to see my subscriptions renew automatically. I don't want people letting it lapse at all, because we know that even the people that intend to renew, there's going to be a segment that you lose. That's just part of any business service. So I just have to wonder if they're going to address how the rewards are spread out, or if they're going to offer something like, if you don't let the Sigil lapse, you get an extra renewal bonus, and they'll address it that way. So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I certainly I don't think they're done. However you read the introductory price information, I don't think they're done tweaking this thing. So there'll definitely be more to come. And I do wonder if after a few months they look at the data and they look at how many people they have either taking it some time off, or just completely dropping the thing, whether they're going to make any changes to the reward structure to keep people from having any time off the Sigil. Right. So looking ahead, like if they do update the Sigil, what's one thing that you would like to see added or changed that would make you feel even better about that purchase?
Well, I think kind of going off of what we were just talking about. I mean, yes, there is the Moneyball aspect, as you put it. Nice phrase, by the way.
Thank you.
In terms of, you're welcome. In terms of planning when you want to renew your Sigil and stuff like that, which is fun, which is great, and it is good for maximizing the value of it. But it proves even further that what you're doing there is trying to maximize rewards over the 30-day period. Like, again, you mentioned the daily cards. You buy the unit daily card. You're going to get a grand total of, what is it? I think it's like the 735 units for the $5, which is great. You get the signing bonus, and then you get the 30 units a day, and it all adds up. That's cool. But obviously with something like that, you are playing the long game. You know that you're going to get those 700 whatever units over the span of 30 days. But I feel like with the Sigil, aside from a couple of things, I feel like it's playing the long game even more, because yes, you do, like, every Monday the new solo event starts, And like we said, it's easy to get those rewards, so you kind of get those pretty quickly. And yes, the black ISO market resets every 2 weeks. So once that happens, you can start trading in all your stuff and start organizing and what have you. And then you get the 2 weeks to rebuild your resources. But again, that is kind of like that is on your schedule in the sense that it's whenever you get around to leveling up your champs to do the solo event or going to the black ISO market to trade in the stuff. There is very little that you get right when you buy the sigil. I mean,
Right.
again, you get the title, doesn't count.
Yep.
You get the XP boost, which obviously if you're level 59 or under, that's cool. And that'll just supplement however much you're playing already. Ditto with the slightly faster energy refill, which helps all of us, of course.
Yes.
It's not a huge change, but it is still something. You get access to, again, like we said, playing the fighting goal pool the one time to get gold there. But I mean, that's kind of it. There is no real signing bonus, or like that is the signing bonus, of getting those perks without something physical that you're getting right when you spend your $10. So something I wouldn't mind seeing, if they took that solo event, they could maybe keep some of the rewards in there that you still have to quote unquote earn, even though it's super easy. But then break some of them off and give them to you as a signing bonus, again, based on your like Cavalier, uncollected, proven, whatever. Maybe you get some of those shards. Maybe you get some of those units or something like that. Maybe you get an energy refill or a couple energy refills or something, just to kind of keep yourself moving right when you buy it, but also giving you something to say like, hey, I just bought the sigil and I physically got these things added into my account, in addition to this perks and the other stuff that I'm going to get, later today, later this week, over the next 30 days, whatever it is. To kind of throw in another one, which is going off of something you mentioned earlier, and just some other comments that I've seen, either on the forums or on Reddit or on Twitter or in response to my videos or stuff like that. Kind of seeing a little bit of a refresh in the Black ISO market itself. You can maybe pick like a couple of featured items that refresh every 2 weeks or something that, they won't be off. You have all the stuff that's already offered every single time, but then you have something special that pops up. Whether it's a specific hero crystal, whether it's more potions revive, since that's very weakly represented in the Black ISO market. Would like to see more of those, or whatever. But just some sort of like extra featured item that you can only do this time. And when the Black ISO resets next time, that's gone and it's replaced by something else. Just to kind of give it a little bit, I don't want to say that it's stale, but something like that would kind of help freshen it up every 2 weeks and be like, oh, I wonder what it's going to be this time,
Oh, for sure. And my number one pick for that would be a 4-star Sigstone conversion to a 5-star Sigstone conversion.
That'd be very cool.
You would be taking something that's effectively worthless to Cavalier players into something that we highly desire. So it wouldn't even matter if the conversion rate was like, 5-1? I don't care. Like syncing up a 4-star, that's meaningless to me. But, if it rotated through, even if it was like, just for, the 2 weeks is like, okay, you can convert 4 science 4-star Sigstones to 1 science 5-star Sigstone, and they just rotated through the classes every 2 weeks. Like, that would be awesome. That would give me a reason to actually open those 4-star Sigstone crystals, and trade them in like that. That would be cool. And I think, especially with an item like that, which is probably one of the items that's behind the paywall more than any other in this game, probably, well, this month aside from the side quest, I think, Sigstones have always been notoriously hard to come by, and they're so critical for people being competitive. It'd be nice to see another way for people to get them. So looking ahead, we're going to turn our attention to the biggest spending week of the year. It is about to be a very Merry Christmas at the Kabam offices because Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming. And this year, it's happening with a twist because we're not getting Black Friday deals and then Cyber Monday deals. No, no, no. 96 hours of the juiciest deals that we will see all year. So we can mull it over all weekend. We can beg for gift cards and early Christmas presents. They are really gearing us up for this sucker this year. I don't remember them ever sending in-game messages saying, "Hey guys, don't forget in a week we're gonna really try to get you to spend your money on this game."
I mean, heck, they put up the thing. I think it was either earlier this week or over the weekend. They, threw up something on Twitter. I don't know if they did it like on Facebook or Instagram too, but same deal. It's like I don't think I've ever really seen them push sales this hard.
Oh, for sure. And, have to give credit where credit's due. I think Seaton is right on the money. If you guys don't know who Seaton is, he has like 250 million subscribers. So people like him. He had the idea that because Black Friday is actually in December this year. I'm sorry, Cyber Monday is in December this year. That's why the sales are structured this way, because it would totally mess up their November year-over-year numbers to run the sale in December in 2019 versus in November in 2018. And, not that I have a big corporate job, but, I've dealt with enough accountants and boards to understand, like, you just don't want to have to answer that question. Like, why are your November numbers not good? And it's like, oh, it's a fluke with the calendar. Don't worry. Next month we'll get it then. Like, you just don't want to have to answer that question. So right. I'm pretty sure that that's what's going on there. So, looking ahead to Cyber Monday, of course, like we're going to talk in a minute about the big deals. But I think what they've done this year actually creates an interesting opportunity for some of the smaller deals, because prior to 2019, I don't feel like MCOC has been a game that offers players who are comfortable with dropping $5 or $10 a very good opportunity to do that. And I would put myself as one of those players. Sig Stone deals for like $50, or like $100 for a 5-star card deal. So, things like that, or, the big deals with the Odins. Like, some of us are just never going to spend $100 at a whack on the game. And 4th of July and Cyber Monday might be the only time that we think to, like, all right, well, I'll throw them $5 or $10. I'm playing the game, 25 hours a week. I guess they've earned it. But that kind of changed this year when you talk about the $5 unit card, which I still think is the best deal in the game. And that's something, that for me, that's like, okay, there's my Alliance War season without stress. Like, there's the backup. If I mess up, like, I know I've got this card in reserve, like, getting me units. Like, I feel good about that. And then you got the Sigil, which is a bunch of stuff for $10. So now I'm looking at it, it's like, well, is the Cyber Monday, Black Friday, Star-Lord's loot bag, which is going to be $9.99, the same price as the Sigil, is if I have a choice between my $10 on the Sigil or $10 on that one shot of the Star-Lord's loot bag, what are they going to have to put in that thing for me to make that choice for the for the Black Friday deal? Because if you look at it, like 4th of July, which was a really interesting deal, it was 500 6-star shards, 1 T4B, and half of a T2A, and there was some gold in there. I don't know. I mean, for some people, maybe that's worth more than the Sigil, but honestly, for a month worth of extra energy and cheap 5 stars and the black ISO market, like, I don't know if that tops the Sigil in my mind. What do you think about what they're going to do with, like, the cheaper deals this year to make that kind of stand up against the Sigil?
Well, I think it kind of goes a little bit back to what we were talking about before of getting your rewards all now versus
Yep.
getting your rewards over the span of 30 days. And I do think they probably need to spice up the $5 and $10 deals a bit. Like I don't think they're gonna go super over the top. Although of course, usually with all of the Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday deals, whatever, they tend to have multiple purchases available. Limit
Hmm.
2, limit 3, whatever it is.
Yep.
But just looking at them individually, I do think they're going to have to step it up a bit
Yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, like you said, comparing to the Sigil, you know, again, you do have to kind of look at the bigger picture, but there is still a lot that you get offered for those $10. It's just a question of now versus later. So I don't know. I think they will have to add probably some more shards. Maybe like even for the $5 or $10 deals, maybe start adding 5-star shards. Maybe start adding tier 2 alpha frags. It
Yep.
sounds a little nuts,
Hmm.
but if you wanna appeal, that's how you're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Unless they really want to go the opposite way. And I was actually just thinking this as we were talking now, as you were setting up this question. Unless they really want to go the other way and maybe try and get more people to get to the sigil this weekend by offering some sort of like a sign-up bonus, basically. Like, hey, for brand new subscribers, or if you're renewing it, if you get the sigil this weekend, we'll give you an extra 500 5-star shards or something. Again, I don't think it could be too much because it would probably make a lot of us upset. But, if
Mm.
they really wanted to, from a marketing perspective, that would be a smart way to try and get more people to do that, because it's like, hey, you are going to be getting all this stuff over the next 30 days,
Hmm.
but here's a little something for you right now, because you could go buy some units and get the tier 4 basics and the 5-star shards and whatever that we're going to add to the Star Wars loot bag, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh wow. Yeah, maybe they will do something like that. That would be, I mean, we're seeing, deals that are much more complex and selectable, and we're seeing things tiered now. So they are nothing if not getting more and more creative with the deals that they are offered in the game. So
Sure.
now, I think as far as the sigil goes, like the $5-10 stuff is interesting, but let's face it, everyone is hyped um, for the big boy offers, and the real speculation is we assume that there is going to be a 3-tiered unit offer that tops out for a total of 15,000 units, because there always seems to be. Um,
Hmm.
and this is where the speculation gets really, really nuts. And July 4th, they blew us away because at the $10,000 unit level, um, you could choose what you wanted in the final pack. You could either go with the Awakening bundle, you get the 5-star Awakening gem, you get the 4 to 5-star rank up crystal, 10 tier 1 alphas, and 1.5 million gold. Or you could have gone with the superior rank up bundle. That was the 2 tier 5 basics. That would be the 25-star plus 5 sig stones, 10 tier 1 alphas, 15,000 6-star hero crystal shards. So that's a featured if you wanted to go that way, and the 1.5 million gold. So those set the baseline. The offer can't be worse than that, because time moves on, things devalue. So and the second part of that is we've just received a huge buff to the AQ rewards and the
Hmm.
Glory Store, where T5B is more accessible than ever. And now I know KT1, he's at the top of the game, but he's talking like he's getting 4 or 5 T5B a month. So my first question to you is, even at our level, I don't know how many rank 5 stars you have. I just got my 9th. I don't know that I would drop 10,000 or 15,000 units just to have a 10th, rank 5 5-star early. How are you feeling
Hmm.
about that?
I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I think that if they really want to blow it out of the water, they will need to step it up. And I think honestly, kind of focus on 6 stars.
Yeah.
We just had that nutso 6 star vision offer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean,
which
dropping that the week before Cyber Monday, that
with
gave people heart palpitations.
it did. I don't know. I think there might have been a better response to it if they dropped it during this weekend, especially because it's going to be a 4-day deal instead
Yeah.
of 1 day of deals. Even if they did it as a side offer, they still have all this stuff they add to the unit packs. They still have the 3-tiered unit deals. And then it's like, oh, well, you could skip all that and you could spend your thousands and thousands of units on a 6-star vision instead if you want. But I bring that up too because in that second tier, they did have, I believe, our first example of a 6-star rank up gem.
They did a 1 to 2, yes.
Exactly, which I mean, of course, is huge right now.
Right.
It's essentially, it's even a better equivalent than a rank 4 to rank 5 5-star gem.
Oh yeah.
So and it's funny, like before we did this interview, I noticed that you had put up a poll on Twitter about a 6-star awakening gem. I believe you had phrased it as a class selection, right?
Yeah. The
like
1 out
choose
of
your
6.
own class.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I do think I could, for that final tier, that final unit tier deal of 10,000 units, 11,000 units, whatever it's going to end up being, I could see it being probably not choose your own class, but I could see it being a 6-star rank 1 to rank 2 gem crystal. I could see it being a 6-star awakening gem crystal.
Yep.
I think you and I were talking about it a few days ago. Like generic stuff, it's still too early for that.
Yeah, I don't expect to see a generic. But right now the no's are leading the way on the 6-star class awakening gem. But would you talk about something that would escalate the game and move the needle? Any sort of 6-star awakening gem. It would be the first that we've seen outside of the one Metal Sonic one at New York Comic Con.
Right.
So like that, the 6-star gem, for me, that clearly moves the needle and would signal a move at the top end of the game to 6 stars and to 6-star prestige at that point.
Right.
And I think I hadn't really considered. I hadn't put it together like you would put it together. But yeah, we've got to think that the 6-star 1 to 2 gem is on the table now that we've seen it in the Vision deal. We know it exists now. It's not theoretical. It's in there, so that could be in there. And my earlier Twitter poll from yesterday was not phrased so much about like what's going to be in the deals, but by definition, you know what it has to include when you see the poll is, are we going to see rank 3 6 stars sometime on Friday afternoon? The other big piece is, are they going to be selling tier 5 class catalysts, either the 25% randoms? Are they going to do a whole one? Do you expect to see either in the Odins or in the 15K deal some sort of T5cc offer?
I would hope so. I mean, I was earlier today, I was kind of reviewing, I think I went to Seaton and Lagazine, a couple others, just, going to YouTube and rewatching some 2018 Black Friday Cyber Monday videos and keep it on the theme of 6 stars. I think so for the Odin last year, in addition to the tier 5 basic frags and the fully formed 5-star basic, it was 2,500 6-star shards, I believe, per Odin. That needs to come up, I would think. I don't want to say that it should be a fully formed 6-star basic. I think that's asking a bit much. But I would say at least 5,000 to 7,500 6-star shards should, or will, or whatever, be in the Odin. I don't think I would want to see any tier 5 CC unless it was fully formed or like a tier 5 CC crystal, basically. I wouldn't want to see it in the Odin, but I would kind of expect to see it in the final tier of the units bundle, especially if they do like a choose your own um, final tier. I would love to see. I honestly would love to see at least a 50% frag crystal. I think doing the 25% frag crystal is nice, but if they were going to go that way, they would need to offer multiple. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be 4 on the off chance someone actually defies the odds and rolls the exact same class 4 times in a row. But I do think that if it's going to be the 25% one, they need to do at least 2 or 3 of those crystals. Just because, if you only get one, and whatever class that is, if you haven't really gotten far on it yet, it just feels like you haven't gotten anywhere, even though you only need
Right.
the one tier 5 CC to do a rank 3 6-star. I don't know. I just feel like they need to be there, but it needs to be more than just one 25% crystal. I feel like it's not progress that you're feeling right now, even though it is a great deal in addition to whatever else would be part of it.
Well, it'll be interesting if there are 2 deals, if one of them is geared towards 5 stars and one of them is geared towards 6 stars,
sure.
To really maximize, like, how wherever you're at with your roster. It's like, all right, well, I could go in one direction if I need to awaken an R5 a 5-star, or is there another one that's going to be more geared towards the 6 stars for the the true 0.1% of the game that is already smashing through 6.2 and 6.3 and might be sitting on 75% of a tier 5 class catalyst if they've gotten really lucky and they've bought some of the other offers. I've got to think there's some people that are pretty close at this point that they bought everything, so. and they've completed the first 3 first 3 chapters of Act 3. There's a few people out there that that could cross the finish line if the right offer is in place, and RNG blesses them on Friday. So, but
sure,
that's
because if they've been active in Act 6, if they've gotten through 6.2 and 6.3, yep. Especially, even though that's only been out for a very short time now, they're probably also doing decently in Alliance War seasons, so they're getting those rewards, the season crystals and the frag crystals from them too. So, no, it's feasible that someone's probably fairly close. I know there have been a couple of random tier 5 CC frag crystal offers that have popped up in the last few months.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people have bought them just because it's pretty much whales only from what I remember them charging.
That's only at the very top where they're planning ahead because they know the prestige is going to shift and they want to be staying in a top 10 Alliance Quest alliance going forward. And they just want to be prepared for that. But those guys are getting those 2% crystals from war rewards too, so they're getting little bits here and there. So it will be interesting. And when we if we see a rank 3 Namor or Doctor Doom screenshot on Friday, that sucker's going viral quick because people are going to be losing their minds. I remember we were looking on Twitter earlier today, and Brutal DLX was posting his awakened 6-star sunspot, and some people were questioning whether he actually had an R3, and he didn't. But he's one of those guys that you probably want to watch on Friday if we see the tier 5 CC, because he might be one of those guys that has that breaking news. And man, can you imagine the crits on Special 2 from a rank 3 Duke Sunspot? That would be insane.
That would be nuts. It's literally game changing. You know, these almost any rank 3 6-star, even if you had someone like Deadpool X-Force or an Iron Man or something, just from the sheer stats, they're still going to outdamage most of the champs in the game. And I think I had put yes on that one actually, but I think it is possible that sometime this weekend we may see it. To kind of talk about it generally, first of all, I like what they're doing. They advertise it in advance, but even if they didn't, I like that this is a 4-day sale rather than something on Black Friday, which is usually underwhelming anyway, and then the real stuff is on Cyber Monday. Honestly, more of their deals, they should be multi-day deals. I don't know why they don't do that more often. It's like, hey, here's this amazing deal. You have 24 hours, go. I think a lot of people would probably try and make something happen if they knew they had 2 days, 3 days, 4 days to try and buy something. Not that I'm encouraging, extra purchases or anything, but I don't understand why more deals couldn't be longer than 24 hours, just to give ourselves some flexibility.
Yeah, sometimes you want to think about it, really think about your roster and, look at other people's opinions. And, we should throw out the disclaimer that if, you're not going to spend any money this weekend, that's totally fine. Like, nothing bad's going to happen. You are paying to go faster in this game. And if you have some extra money and that's fun for you, like, that's cool. But, like, do not feel the need to overextend yourself for any of these offers. That's not fun, and you're just going to end up regretting it. So, definitely, stay. If you've got a budget, like, think about your budget now before you know what the deals are, and stick to that. If you wait until you see the deals to think about what's an appropriate amount of money for you to spend, you're probably going to end up spending more because you're getting tempted. So it's much better to really put a number in your head if you're going to spend it all now, as to what your limit's going to be, and really stick to that, even if it's really, really tempting, because you will get that stuff eventually. Brian Grant is an ultimate testament to that.
Yep, I was just about to say, I love, 4th of July, Cyber Monday, all that. I love seeing the big openings. I mean, I love doing them. I love doing them myself, but I love watching, again, like Seaton and Dorky Dave and Legacy and so many others doing their big openings. But I'm honestly almost equally as excited to see that video come out from Brian Grant, where, I mean, of course, he really goes into the unit deals, but since he's free to play, it's like, let me give you the free to play experience and the insight and the analysis of these deals, because I'm not going to buy them.
Right.
So I mean, I love that, and I absolutely agree. Like, yeah, if you have the money, or if you have the iTunes or Android or whatever, and you're willing to spend it, that's awesome. All the best. Hopefully, you get some lucky polls, or you get the resources you need to rank up your chances, stuff like that. But don't spend money you don't have. Like you said, make your budget. Be smart about it. We all, like I was saying at the top of the interview, we all have different situations. We all have a job or we don't. We have rent, we have mortgage, we have food, we have family, whatever, So don't overextend yourself, no matter how exciting this stuff may seem.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we should probably leave it there. I think we've covered a lot as far as the Sigil and Cyber Monday. But before we go, you've been away for a while, so I'm guessing you've got a lot of content that you're going to want to get out, hopefully over the next couple weeks. So what should we be looking for from you?
Well, I mean, of course, the big question is going to be what is happening this weekend with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So most likely, I'll probably give it a day or so, and you'll see my video on that either Saturday or Sunday, just to prepare. But like you said, I've been gone for a while. I was away for a few weeks longer than expected. So a lot of you, if you were watching my content, you saw that, again, like I said, I was putting music on all my videos instead of my usual commentary. So that will be back. While I was away, I did a few spicy rank ups. I mean, nice. You saw a lot of the crystals and stuff that I opened, of course. I still shared those. Yeah, I did one decent 5-star rank up. I'm about to do another 5-star to rank 5. I'm very close on that. Used the generic awakening gem on that character. Did take my second 6-star to rank 2. So now I have 2 rank 2 6-stars. So I'll be doing that. I'll be catching up on some of my usual things like random crystals, Marvel Insider, probably talking more about the Sigil, just other stuff coming up. I mean, December is going to be a very busy month ahead with the 5th anniversary, with Silver Surfer, with Variant 4, with all of that. So expect the usual wide variety of content coming for that, and some catch up starting this weekend with my voice. I promise my voice will be there.
Oh, I'm
that is
excited.
a guarantee.
We're gonna hear that hello again. It
Indeed.
is gonna be so nice to hear. And for the people that want to check out your videos, follow you on Twitter, where do they connect with you?
Well, I'm MCOC DroidDoes on YouTube. It's MCOC_DroidDoes on Twitter. I also have a Discord. I can pretty much in every single video that I put out, the description of the Discord is in there. So by all means, always check that out. It should also be on my Twitter profile as well. We talk MCOC all the time. We also talk MCU. That's the secondary main focus of my Discord, is talking about the MCU, of course. You know, a number of movies, and of course all the new Disney Plus TV shows are coming out soon. So we are very excited talking about all that stuff. So yeah, come on by, join the chat.
Yeah, and if I may give a plug for the Discord, I'm in it a lot. It's one of my favorite Discords. It's super chill, very welcoming. If you happen across this interview and you're a newer player, like, you're not going to get any sort of attitude and resistance in Droid's Discord. It's super helpful people. So yeah, definitely one of the friendliest pockets of the MCOC universe, and I really commend you for that, because you've got a really nice culture and vibe going on in your Discord that I really appreciate, and that's why I'm hanging out there so much. So I just wanted to give you that plug.
I appreciate that too. I mean, that's always been the goal from day one, is, anybody, whether they're a brand new player or whether they're level 60 Cavalier and they've beaten everything in the game, they can come by, they can chat about the game. We have so many different topics in there based on, aspects of the game, to get advice, to share tips, to help each other out. That's always been the goal. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that. That is the vibe that I'm always looking to have.
Excellent. Well, I will be sure to link your YouTube, the Discord, and your Twitter in this video. We've gone on for about an hour because there's been so much to talk about, so much news, so much to catch up with you. So MCOC DroidDoes, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to have to do this again sometime when we think of a new topic to discuss.
Absolutely. Sign me up.
Awesome. Well, it was great. It was great to hear your voice again. Thank you, everyone, for checking out this interview, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
Take care, everybody.